Hi everyone, welcome to Words with Wista. Welcome to my not so personal diary where we keep it honest, we keep it real. I talk about whatever pops in my head, and these topics can range from politics all the way to pop culture or just random things that I found on the internet. If you're part of the Wista gang, part of the Wista crew, part of the Wista posse, welcome back. I missed you. I missed you so much. I really did. I'm serious. And if you are a new listener, as in the words of Pop Smoke, recipes of Pop Smoke, but welcome to the party. You guys, happy New Year. Well, by the time this episode comes out, it's going to be January 5th. I hope you're enjoying a couple of days of the new year. Yes, I feel like this year has started and there's been plenty of twists and turns. I'm not going to say like crazy twists and turns, what I'm seeing for some people, but twists and turns that need to happen to get them closer to where they need to be, right? So this is the time to really think about what you want to achieve this year and truly be like, yeah, I'm going to chase that. I'm going to do this. Put yourself out there. Valentine's Day is next month. And I see a lot of y'all complaining about not having Valentine. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Go shoot your shot. Go do what you have to do. But do we want to go to life update? Or do we want to go straight to these topics? Because, we have a lot to talk about. Let's move on to life update. Life update, I'm going to say it so many times that I say it on every episode. Life is life. Things are moving. Things are pushing through. We're getting through things every step of the day. I've noticed during this time because I feel like a lot of people talk about the new year and they're like, yeah, it's a brand new time. But still, you guys have to realize is we just stepped outside of holiday season, right? There are people who are mourning. And there are people who don't feel motivated to even do anything. And I don't blame you. You're going to go through phases where you just don't feel like doing anything. Or even with that, too, we're kind of at the peak of seasonal depression. It's been snowing almost every other day in the East Coast. And as much as you guys are like, yes, we had a white Christmas, it's snow for the new year. Having to clean your car or driving in the snow is not fun. It's not. It's not. I have friends that live in California and they're like, it's raining. I'm like, girl, it's snowing out here. I could deal with some rain. But once you're telling me snow, sleet, ice, oh yeah, I'm staying inside. It's too cold for this. But life update overall, life is life. We'll see how things go. Take it a step at a time. And I just want to flag also too for anybody who understands and been like a listener of the show for quite a couple times, you already know we are not in the new year yet. The new year doesn't really start until the spring equinox. I personally call January and February the months of trial and error for you to prep for the actual new year, which is the spring equinox, which is, if you bring in astrology, Aries season around that time. But hey, what can I say? If you have a New Year's resolution, just don't be hard on yourself and try to like take it one step at a time. I think that's the most important thing. Like I've been doing is going with the flow. I know you guys hate when I mention going with the flow, but going with the flow and letting things play out on its own is truly the best way to do. Because I feel like in general, as people, we do have control issues where we want to control the narrative, where really we just need to do it for the plot. Just do it for the plot. Step out of your comfort zone or be open to different opportunities. That's all I'm going to say for the life update, but let's move on to the general topics. Okay, you know the spiel. We're going to do the spiel. I feel like eventually I'm going to have somebody record the spiel or like have one of my like musician friends or cousins just certain intros that we have. Can you just get me a mic and some beats in the background so I can just autoplay it? But we come from many different places. We come from many different races. We come from many different ethnicities. We come from many different socioeconomic backgrounds. But what brings us together? Politics and the economy. And let's talk about what the Trump administration is fucking up this week, because they really did decide to go drop some bombs in Venezuela. So, if you've been living under a rock, well, the U.S. has captured Venezuelan leader Maduro. Am I pronouncing this man's last name correctly? You know what? No, y'all do the same thing to my last name and my name. if I butcher your last name, I'm sorry. But they have captured the alleged dictator from Venezuela. And how they did it was they striked a specific location in Venezuela, which we know Venezuela is not too far from Trinidad Tobago. And also, it is actually next to the Caribbean country Guyana. Yep, it's pretty much like a port in Latin America. If you think about it, it's kind of like a port for like Caribbean countries to a certain extent. If you think about it, just where it's located and everything like that, they have easy access to go to the Caribbean. Now, they did a strike, and I don't know how they planned this whole thing out and how they did this. They said they only were plotting this for like what? I think like 5 months. We're about to be a year into this administration, but they striked it, and they really grabbed this man, his wife, and his son and put them on a plane. And mind you, why this man had a Nike tech on? How do you get kidnapped by the US government in a Nike tech suit? And I think as somebody who is in PR or has experience in PR, especially when it comes to consumer brands, yes, with brands such as like Marc Jacobs, Amazon, or even anything where people have to purchase the item, this is the aspect of like, dang, Nike might have to discontinue that specific design of the Nike tech and even the colorway. The only reason why I'm saying this is because Nike had something like this happen way back in like the early 90s with the Heaven Gates cult, and how they all wore these specific Nikes from this time, and they all unalived themselves. I did a whole episode about this back in like 2018. It was called the Heaven Gates episode or something about Colts, but you can go listen to that. That's a very old episode. Ooh, I don't know if y'all be able to tolerate that. But bringing it back to what I was saying is that they caught him. They basically captured him, his wife, and his kid, and they actually brought him to New York. And he's actually going to be staying at that same location, that precinct that Diddy was in. So it's like, okay, so y'all basically took a world leader and you guys are putting him in the same precinct with Luigi and where Diddy was. I cannot with this anymore. I cannot. And there are Venezuelans who are celebrating, specifically Venezuelan Americans that are excited about and happy about this. Okay, I understand the celebration of, okay, your dictator is gone. But once America infiltrates themselves into your country, especially with this administration, you're screwed. Look at the previous historical times where the U.S. has taken down somebody and then they come and infiltrate. I'm just saying, it has to be beneficial. I can't name any country it's been beneficial for in this modern day time. I personally feel like with this administration, it's bringing back modern day colonization with a little twist to it. And it's the fact that when Trump did the speech and he said, yeah, the U.S. is going to take over Venezuela. No, these big businesses, these oil companies are going to be taking over. Now imagine you're Venezuelan and you come from a legacy of like oil money, right? What are you going to do? Because I don't know if you guys know, but out of all the countries around the world, Venezuela has actually the highest amount of like dollars and amount of oil. It's higher than Saudi Arabia. Like, if you really need some oil and you really need some gas, you gotta go to Venezuela. Don't be going to Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry. You don't need to take a trip to Saudi Arabia or Dubai to go get some shit. You can literally just go to Venezuela. Take a flight to Trinidad and then take a flight to Venezuela and you're set to go when it comes to crude oil. And it's really showing to you right there where Trump is like, yeah, we're going to bring money back to the oil business. No, you're just trying to find a way to scheme and connive because guess what? There's something about to pop off about you and you're trying to collect as many dollars as you can. And it's the fact that now they have a VP who's going to be the interim leader. And you even threw shade on this woman and said, oh, yeah, I don't know if she can rule the country, but she's a nice lady. Once again, it displays an aspect of sexism, and still to this day, I cannot forgive you guys for voting this man in office. Like I said, Venezuelans are free to an extent when it comes to being ruled by Maduro. Like, yes, he's not their president anymore, so they're not necessarily under a dictatorship anymore. But now it's the fear of what is going to happen. I know a lot of Venezuelan Americans are happy, but it's like, girl, you still live in America. Yes, let's be real. This country's a hot mess, but there's still some sort of privilege or benefit that's slightly there that you have over your family members or counterparts in your family's homeland, right? Okay. So you might not necessarily know about the laws that they have in their country. So it's like, oh, well, the US infiltrated, but you can look what the US is doing currently. Look what the US is doing. Here's my conspiracy. Other than the oil thing, which we already know these companies are going to go and make some headquarters there, I also think that some of the people that they're rounding up from ICE, they're going to send them there, make them do some work or something like that. They're going to do something like that. I just sense it. Or they're going to take some folks from Guantanamo Bay and send them there. I don't know. I feel like they're about to make an alligator Alcatraz 2.0 over there, something, because they have a lot of land in Venezuela. I don't know what it is, but that's something that popped in my head. But I will say these Caribbean countries need to be careful. So I do want to bring up the fact that the former president and his wife are actually being accused of basically like smuggling drugs, finding ways to get narcotics into the U.S. Also in the aspect of them using diplomatic passports and everything so they can actually make the transfer. As somebody who interned at United Nations and has also worked at United Nations, I know a lot when it comes to just overall anything having to do with international leaders or just world leaders in general. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you are a diplomat in any country, you can actually walk away free from a crime. We've heard so many times about diplomats who are from other countries come to America. They end up in an accident where somebody's unalived and they get to walk free. They can just go back to their country. They have no record, nothing. They can't even be trialed because they have immunity. Now that's making people think is, okay, Trump, you basically striked Venezuela. If to a certain extent, yes, you captured him, but you kidnapped the president, his wife, and also his son. Is that legal? And you did not even inform Congress, right? It's making me think that this administration will try to find ways of how far they can go without Congress's approval, or even giving them the heads up of, hey, we're going to do it. You know how like some people talk about their spouses and they're like, oh, call me if you're going to make a super duper huge purchase. It's kind of like, okay, you're about to make that super duper huge purchase, but you didn't call your partner to let them know it's going to be done. So think about it as that. So that's a loss of trust between the administration and also Congress. But let's be real. Is there anything to trust in politics? Let's be honest, because it's not. But a lot of lawyers are trying to figure out that what Trump did is actually illegal. Because also let's not forget too is in the UN laws, because as much as we're like, oh, well, countries all do this and like the US is the main leader and they tell everything to what to do. Actually, the main leader when it comes to like all these countries is the United Nations. The United Nations will step in when they have to. In a situation like this, they have their own like amendments and everything. And it's actually known that they have like world leader immunity where a president or a diplomat from another country, like if they're not supposed to be trialed with another country or any of that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out when it comes to the aspect of the trial for that president. So we'll just have to see and keep it updated, especially for the fact that his court case is happening in New York. So you are not going to get any video footage. We'll just have to see who ends up in the courtroom when it comes to media wise. I don't know if a lot of people are going to pull up for this one just because, let's be real, there's some people like, well, it is what it is. But do not be surprised. Do not be surprised if you see large crowds trying to get into that courtroom when the trial happens, which will probably be in late 2026 or early 2027. Just be on the lookout for that. I'll probably most likely be talking about it anyways. So it's official. Zohran Mamdani is officially the mayor of New York. Zoran is getting straight to work. He is not playing any games. He's already talking to the aspect about like making sure that renters have certain rights, especially with dealing with certain types of landlords. We're also hearing about the fact that he revoked orders issued by former Mayor Eric Adams, which included one that officially adopted a contentious definition of anti Semitism that includes criticism of Israel. And yeah, there are people who are not happy about this. So we're just going to see what goes through when it comes to just Zoran and what he's going to do for New York. I will say he definitely is showing people that he came in to really change the lives of many New Yorkers. So it's only been what? It's only been 5 days. 5 days, yes, can make a difference. But let's recoup and regroup back about Zoran in 5 months just because he hasn't even served 100 days yet. And I only want to say that is because look what Trump did in 100 days. Look what Trump did in 2 weeks. So let's just let it play out. He did make some commentary about the strikes in Venezuela and how he doesn't agree with the strikes and everything like that. But guys, honestly, with this administration, we are literally in a simulation. That's what it is. This administration is a whole simulation. So every single day I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm on an episode of like Sims. I feel like a sim every single time I wake up just because of the breaking news that's currently going on. But we're going to keep this politics section short. Where this episode might be short today. I might be proud of us if we really just get to like a 1 hour mark. But let's get on to, I'd say, like business news, but then also talking about like health news as well. We're trying to delve into many sectors, but the alcohol industry is crashing. Yes, the liquor industry is crashing. The industry has lost over $830 billion. Guess what? Younger people are not drinking like that. Yeah, they're not drinking. And if they are drinking, majority of the time, they're not drinking certain drinks that we see. Because let's say, for example, somebody wants to just like get like blanked out drunk, right? They'll probably have two beatboxes. You know what y'all like? What you know about beatbox? I barely drink. It's empty calories. I rather eat. But they rather have two beatboxes, which is equivalent to a Four Loko, rather than having like a glass of Chardonnay or having a dirty martini. Yes, I like dirty martinis. We could argue about that another time. Yeah, I like my grown woman drinks because I'm a grown woman. But in addition to that, a lot of younger people are not drinking like that, right? Sometimes they're making mocktails. They're making sleepy girl cocktails. They're mainly drinking matcha kombucha or some prebiotic juice. So they're doing a lot of things that is very much healthy for their gut, or they're just drinking soda or water. But I feel like a lot of people tend to forget is that like kombucha, if you ferment it for quite a while, it actually does like create some form of alcohol somehow, some way. It's all about the sciences behind it. But younger people are not drinking like that. And there needs to be studies to that and why. But one thing I will say is let's not forget that with this economy and imports and exports and how the president is moving, yeah, it's going to cost money because guess what? You have tariffs going to countries like Mexico that provides tequila. You have tariffs going to the Caribbean islands where what they mainly have is rum. So it's not surprising that people aren't drinking like that because guess what? It costs too much money, but people will find a way to make their own alcohol. Hello, moonshine. They'll find a way, ferment some fruit. Eventually, it's going to start kicking in, but still, younger people are not drinking like that anymore. And I think they really need to do like a deep dive study of the age ranges. Are it people who are 21 to like 29? But let's not forget, there are people who underage drink. who are you guys doing these pollings with, so we can really get an understanding on just overall the whole data to this study, because it's not making any sense. It's not making any sense because why am I seeing TikToks about like lemon drops and everything, but you're telling me that this industry is losing money? But you know what? Let's keep it moving. Now we have to delve into like sad news. We have to talk about death. We have to talk about layoffs and just like technology trying to like just invade people's privacy. But let's talk about the passing of Dr. Janelle Green Smith, which has definitely shaken the maternal health community. She is a devoted midwife and outspoken advocate for Black maternal health, and her death during childbirth is heartbreaking and very concerning to the aspect of like, okay, when are we going to address the Black women maternal death rate? Like, when are we going to address this? Because we have these conversations so many times. I've been on Facebook threads, I've been on Instagram pages, I've been in Reddit threads, and it's always a group of people saying, but why is it happening to the Black women? Why is it happening to brown women? Hello, let's make it make sense. And then I think the thing that's really annoying me is how people are like, well, she was an advocate, she was a doctor. That doesn't matter if she was a doctor. This is kind of showing to you that, yeah, even Black women who are in high earning careers or are seen in the public eye, because let's not forget, Beyonce went through something like this and she talked about it. Serena Williams talked about this. What is being done and what is being said to help save the lives of these women? I know that they said that this doctor specifically had passed away during the childbirth, but then also some people are saying that she gave birth to the child and then she passed away right after, like a couple of days after, which is like, okay, now what should folks in the medical field be doing, especially these OBGYNs, when they are done helping delivering the child? Should the mother, aka the patient, stay in the hospital for at least 2 weeks? But then again, too, let's be real, especially with how insurance is currently during this administration, which once I'm going to say, if you have a kid during this administration, you're crazy. You are crazy. You are crazy. Me and a friend were talking about, yeah, don't even bring the conversation to having a child with me until 2028. And I got certain requirements. I need to ring my hand. There's certain things I got requirements. So don't try to talk to me about kids. No, not with this administration. I need a couple of Democrats in office. I need Democrats in office. I need a Democratic president. And I need certain laws invoked inside before anything or any conversation about a child pops up for me, honey. But it's bringing up the conversation of, yes, she was a medical professional, but it's also showing you that regardless where their socioeconomic background is or where they are placed in society, situations like this can happen. It's the fact that Janelle passed away from the situation that she was trying to prevent other Black women from passing away from. And I can say I've seen some people in the comments saying, yeah, they don't know if they want to have kids because of situations like this. And I always say this, yes, we have to address these rates, but then also it's like, okay, a lot of people are like, oh, well, she is plus size. Do you think this has to do with her weight? We don't know this woman's medical records, obviously because of HIPAA laws, but maybe there's an underlying illness or something like that, preeclampsia, just certain situations. But still, the medical professionals that were taking care of her, they could have done more. I have to be that person. They could have done more. When I was in the hospital for something, I was on their ass. I was on their ass. I was on their ass. Well, I had a Black doctor, but the nurses and everything, I had Filipino nurses and African nurses and even the white nurses. I was really on the white nurses' ass because I was like, girl, you're not to play with me. Not with my life, honey. I was on their ass. They were like, oh my God, what is the pain? I said, a 10. A 10. Any single time they would ask about the pain, I would say it was a 10. It was a 10 because you guys are not about to be like, oh no, she can't. She's not hurting. It was a 10 any single time. And even though the pain did not feel like a 10, I always said a 10 because I'm like, you're going to learn today. You're going to learn today. Yes, I'm a little dramatic, but I do not play when it comes to my health. I don't. I really don't. But hearing this type of story is very sad. And I think even with that, it makes people think like, dang, if you think about it, the craziest and the toughest thing and the most dangerous thing a woman can do is childbirth, but really it's the pre-care and the aftercare for that woman that's really the dangerous part. Yes, giving birth to a child is dangerous too. I think I told you guys about someone I knew who lost his daughter and his grandchild while the daughter was giving birth. The child passed away and then she went into shock. So that's another thing too. It's like, okay, there needs to be studies so we can find a way to prevent this because this should not be happening. Like, there's a little girl who's going to be raised with her father, thank God. Yes, because she is married, but still, she's going to grow up with her mother. So think about that. Somebody just lost their wife. Somebody just lost their daughter, their sister, their cousin, their best friend, their colleague. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. But that's very sad to hear about that. Just overall, rest in peace to her. And it really goes to show you that even if you're a midwife, even if you're a doula, or even if you're in the medical field, it can happen to anybody. It really can happen to anybody. But rest in peace to her. I don't know if you guys know, but any single time the new year starts, there's always some tragedy. And then you guys are like, oh, this is about to be a bad year because it started like this. I hope you guys do know that with the good, unfortunate news does happen. It just happens, right? So I don't know if you guys know, but a New Year's party in an upscale Swiss ski resort actually turned deadly. And the reason and the cause of this whole thing happening, with the sparklers, you cannot blow out sparklers, which is crazy. You know what? Let me go check to make sure on my Instagram that video for my birthday I ain't blowing out sparklers because I be throwing shade at myself. But at that New Year's Eve party, we all know everybody has bottled champagne, sparklers. This is more of an upscale event, so they probably have the best of the best alcohol and beverages. So I'm guessing with the fact that you have the alcohol mixed in with the sparklers that don't go out unless they go out by themselves, just caused a huge fire within that ski resort to the point where I think like what over I think they're saying like the death toll is like at 41 people and like 100 something injured, and they're still getting updates on this. So it's really going to show you like y'all need to be careful. And yes, I'm about to bring a little astrology into it. Astrologers did say that like New Year's Eve to at least I'd say January 18th, if you ain't got to go out, don't go out. Don't go out. Don't go out if you ain't got to go out. Like, I will personally say for me, when it comes to New Year's Eve or selling New Year's, I'd rather be at my house, right? Rather be at my house. If I gotta watch the ball drop, okay. I better be getting booked for this with a major network and it's all expenses paid on them, or I'm in a hotel room in New York City with a nice view of the ball dropping and I don't have to be there, right? That's the only way. But still, it's going to show you that, okay, clubs are going to be more cautious when it comes to how they do their presentations. They come out with the sparklers, the girls come with the signs, they come with the bottles, they start dancing. And, it's not that many bottles and that's not many sparklers. But I guess at this event, they just had a bunch to the point where it caused the fire. Alcohol, fire. Certain things just don't mesh well together. And that's one of them. But either way, rest in peace to victims and also wishing a speedy recovery for those that are injured. I'll share some more updates as they start talking more and how things like this can be prevented. But I'm always going to tell you guys, sometimes it's okay to sit at home. It's okay to stay at home. It's okay to watch the ball drop from your TV. It's okay to sit at home and have a FaceTime chat with your friends. I do that all the time. I literally can have like a whole Facebook conversation, not Facebook, but FaceTime conversation with my friends, and we can kiki ha ha, and the time will go by fast. Now, let's talk about layoffs because I feel like it's very important to talk about this because a lot of you guys work in corporate, others may work in medicine, some may work in tech, but in the end of it, a layoff can happen, right? Layoffs happen. That's when companies are like, oh, well, where can we cut corners? We don't think this is worth it. Let's try to make our profits and our numbers look higher. So we're just going to tell a lot of people, you don't have a job anymore. So we can make things look good that we did something during Q4. And holidays times is really the peak of layoffs, right? You have people who get laid off right before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, and then the mass exodus is after the new year. You go into the office on November 5th. Oops, not me saying November 5th. That means November 5th is an important day for somebody listening to this. That's 2 days before my birthday. But November 5th is a very important day to somebody listening to this because that I did not expect to say that. I know somebody's currently on the way to the office and thinking, like, okay, what's next? I'm going to say this: always stay ready. Always stay ready because sometimes they try to get you around a certain moment in a certain time. But please, please stay ready because a lot of companies have already put out their warrant issue, which you can actually check to see depending on your state. Like New York State, you can actually like see what companies are doing layoffs. You can type yours in to find out. I think they have to do it for like a certain amount of people. I think if it's more than 40 people, then they have to actually inform New York State about it. But still, this is just very tough times because let's not forget too is that bills were due on the first. We're about to hear about people's credit card statements being due soon, depending on how their statement history is. And let's not forget the buy now, pay later debt that people actually have to pay back because guess what? They were swiping like crazy for the holidays. Yeah, this is about to be a real lesson. This is about to be a real lesson. You better go file them taxes. You get that tax refund so you can pay these things back. But regardless, layoffs are not cute. Layoffs are not funny. It just is very sucky. But I always say, take those things as a blessing in disguise. I think what's even more crazier is the fact that 30% of US corporations are going to be doing post holiday layoffs. That means 30%, right? 100 minus 30%, right? 100 minus 30, that's going to be only 70% of viable options for candidates or those looking for new jobs, right? And then don't forget about the aspect of like ghost jobs where you apply for a job that you think it's real and then you just end up getting tons of scam calls and freaking spam calls to the point where I be cussing them out. Or I'm like, girl, you called this phone yesterday. Why are you calling again? You must be a fan. I really do say that to them. I say that to them. And I'm like, you know, I'm the Wista gang, so you cannot hang with me. And I hang up. But either way, I'm going to keep saying this. Always keep your head on the swivel. Always peep things and always be prepared. And make sure you save your work. I don't care what field you're in. If you have documentation, save it. Get a Dropbox account. Get something. Get a portable hard drive just so you can have that on your hands. So when you have a portfolio and you have to present what you've done, you have it all then and there rather than it being erased from a map book or like some bootleg Dell computers, which is crazy. I'm sorry, if your workplace got Dell computers and they ain't got no money, they about to shut down. That's it. But that's not my business. I was throwing shade at a certain company. I was going to delve into this swear meetup that turns into a tragedy, or even this long distance relationship with this lady and this older man, and how that turned into a mess, which I actually have the exclusive because I know somebody who knows the lady personally. So we'll talk about those next week. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you guys about the Wegman situation. Brands are now using biometrics just to get shoppers' data, regardless if it's their eyes, their ears, their hair, their facial features. They're being used for that, right? Biometrics can actually help out because, especially with the aspect of we're hearing about people stealing, we're hearing about employees trying to find ways to get it up through their companies, which is not surprising why Wegmans is currently doing that, especially where that Wegmans is located. Yeah, it's close to Soho. It's not too far from other areas, and let's not forget too is that Starbucks that was within that location has shut down, and Wegman has like its own coffee shop and everything like that, which makes sense that multiple people are going to go there just because of convenience and also the many amenities that comes with shopping at that grocery store. But I'm not even surprised because once again, like I said, it's gonna help with theft. But then again, too, it's like, are customers given the consent that they don't want to be involved in that? That's what I want to know for sure. Or if you go in there, do you have to go fully blown masked up with a hoodie on? Because that makes you a target when it comes to asset protection, right? You might as well just go grocery shop at Whole Foods. But now they're saying that Whole Foods is the same thing. You know what? Oh well, I'm going to shop right. I'm going to shop right. Call it a day. ShopRite if you live in the East Coast, Kroger if you live in the South, Publix if you live in Florida. Yeah, I'm calling it a day because I know damn well ShopRite would not do that. That's not in ShopRite's budget. No shade. Let's scoot over to celebrity news. I feel like I'm going to keep this very short just because I am a little exhausted, you guys. But I don't know if you guys heard about the whole like Anthony Joshua car accident that happened where it took the life of his two of his friends, and Anthony actually did survive. And I think the driver survived too, but he's actually being charged for reckless driving and also the cause of death for Anthony Joshua's both of his friends. And it's kind of crazy for the fact that he beat the shit out of Logan Paul. And then 2 weeks after, he loses two of his best friends. And one thing I will never understand about the Paul brothers, y'all lack empathy because nobody forgets the fact that your brother went to an unalive park in Japan and posted it and thought you were going to get sympathy when we saw right through it. And now with this situation, Jake Paul did a video and basically like paying his respect to Anthony Joshua and his friends, and it just felt like he made the whole thing about him. How are you going to say you support somebody who's mourning the loss of his friends and you post a video and it really just is like, oh, you're just talking about yourself? Like, what? How are you making somebody's death about yourself? That's crazy. It must run in the family. It must run in the family. But yes, that car accident happened in Nigeria. I feel like a lot of people tend to forget too is in certain parts of like developing countries, the roads are just going to be so bad, but people are going to drive reckless just because, yes, there's stoplights and everything like that. But the driving rules is different in, I'd say, like a Nigeria rather compared to in America. But either way, rest in peace to the two young men. I'm hoping Anthony Joshua has a speedy recovery. And I think he had posted an Instagram showing the families of both of the young men. Yeah, Anthony, you got to hold it down for them because their family member did the same for you. But still, I really hope he's okay because that, like, watching the video and everything was not easy. I think they said that one of the young men, like, his head was just decapitated. Imagine seeing that in person. But also imagine his mother or like his siblings just trying to get through the day. And that's the first thing they see when they open on social media, which is why sometimes I'm like, oh my God, get the social media out of here. Do we really want to talk about Stefan Diggs, the Patriot player, also Cardi B's baby daddy, who was arrested and accused of strangling his personal chef, and he's also accused of slapping her allegedly? I saw a picture of the chef. Yeah, Stefan, you got some explaining to do because the the chef looked like a bootleg version of Cardi. BBL, snatch waist, big boobs. The face, I would say interesting face for her, but Cardi's a beautiful woman. But still, the way you are and you like to stick yourself all over the place, you sure you weren't smashing you wasn't doing anything with the chef because it might have been giving that just by the way that you move. But still, I don't know what's going on with the New England Patriots. Y'all are going through it like Pats Nation. Let's get it together, please. And it's the fact that the defensive tackle, Christian Barmore, he's also facing domestic assault charges on a family slash household member. So we necessarily don't know. I don't know much about this man, but so who is the family and household member, depending on certain situations? Which, you know what? In the end, let me mind my business. Let me let law enforcement and the lawyers handle this out. But still, what is the NFL about to do about this? Y'all gotta find people or really just be like, hey, you can't play. What is going to be done about this? And I know that they said that the Patriots organization corporate is working to see what they're gonna do about it as well too. Stefan and Christian have both put out their statements. The only thing is Stefan sounds more PR and he thought about it. And Christian just sound like, yeah, he ain't got PR like that. Or he just, it is what it is when it comes to him, very nonchalant. But we'll just have to keep further updates when it comes to this and keep an eye on it. Because let's not forget too is that I guess like Stefan's brother Trayvon also got dropped from his team. So I'll keep you guys updated in sports news. That's how you guys are like, what's the, please, not you delving into the sports world. I try my best. You know, I'm a jack of all trades. Thank you. Okay, last two topics, and we're ending the show. I don't know if you guys know, I didn't know MTV still was so like showing music. Well, on December 31st, 2025, MTV's remaining music only channels had gone dark. That means they are not going to have any channels that have to do with playing music. It's strictly going to be focused on reality TV and some of their programming when it comes to that, or the VMAs. And I personally have to say this is that MTV's golden era for reality TV was the early 2000s. That cannot be topped and that will never be topped. When it comes to their music channels, I used to watch their music channels, especially when getting ready for school and having to go to school during middle school. But it's crazy if you are still using MTV for looking for music in this day and age. MTV is done. Viacom is going through major changes. I can't wait to see what they do about this because VH1 is still going long and strong. But the only thing about VH1 is that VH1 had the worst music channels. But I can understand, especially at that time, there were certain songs they were pushing, but they had some of the weirdest indie artists on VH1. But MTV was like, no, y'all can't have me on here. But also, let's not forget about the problematic history of MTV as well too. So all I can say is, yeah, I guess an era has ended, and now we're in streaming and other platforms to listen to music. But specifically, those channels showed the music videos. And let's be real, do you all really sit through and watch music videos? Because I don't watch music videos like that no more. Just saying. Now, the last topic is 50 Cent versus Papoose and Clarissa Shields. All I'm going to say is you have a Cancer going back and forth with two Pisces, specifically a Pisces couple. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. They are going to just keep coming after each other because the thing about Pisces is Pisces are kind of like, I'd say, like Aquariuses, where very much like Aquariuses are more aloof, can be detached, while Pisces can be attached, but also in that dream world like state. Don't be surprised if there's more creativity coming from Papoose when it comes to his clapbacks. Um, Clarissa, girl, you are better than this. You are in history books. You made history. Literally, why are you doing this? Why are you doing these antics for the internet? Because honestly, when you step outside the internet, there's something called real life. And this is too much, but honestly, why are you guys beefing with 50 Cent? 50 is the type of person, he is going to egg it on, egg it on, egg it on. I get it. You're like, oh, well, he's too grown for this. Well, guess what? You can be old and not even be mature. You can be physically older, but then your mentality, your mindset is way much younger, which we will be talking on the next episode that's coming out on Friday regarding that, specifically that woman I told you guys that flew out from Florida to Alabama to go meet an older man and how it all played out for her. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on this beef with 50 Cent and Papoose. I think it's the fact that Papoose used AI generated technology to make a video. And now what you're seeing on Instagram are trending videos of Diddy and 50, or 50 and somebody else dressed up very feminine with skirts on and everything, and making it live memes. But yeah, this beef is just New York versus New York. Yeah, just leave this beef in New York. Y'all don't need to take this on the internet. Why don't you guys go bar to bar? Go in the studio and go spit some bars. Please and thank you. Head to the studio and spit some freaking bars. That's what I want. But you guys, let me let you guys go because I have things I have to do. It's bedtime. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm not even going to my Pilates class tomorrow. But you guys, thank you so much for listening to Words with Wista. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you found this podcast, where you gotta follow it, right? Write a review, Give a girl a good, nice little cute review. 5 stars, 5 stars, 10 stars. Please, all the stars. I'm the star. What else? You can follow me on Instagram at ItsWista, ItsWista. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram and also Substack, Words with Wista. What else do I have to say? You guys, dang, this is how you know. Happy New Year. I love you guys. You guys are doing amazing. Just know I'm proud of you. And if you're going through something currently, just know you will overcome it. But I have to go now, guys, okay? Bye. Mwah.